right, guys, what is going on? This is episode 697 of the First and Frame Rate Show. I am VF Baller. Over here we talk about Georgia Southern and Atlanta Falcons football. Next week we'll be at episode 700 and be getting closer to 1,000. That's weird. You know, when I first started this, I didn't think that I was going to get this far with this show or the podcast. Even when it started as just a gaming podcast, I never thought to get any close to 700, let alone 1,000. So we're almost there. So thanks to you guys for continuously supporting the show. And I definitely appreciate it. But today we're going to keep on talking about some Falcons. I mean, I know, this whole Texas State game, Georgia Southern is like a hurdle that we need to get over to run the table for the rest of the year. But I'm going to discuss that, probably on the next episode or definitely Saturday. I'll get into that. But this whole Atlanta Falcons thing got me really interested because not only I love the team, this is my team and all the things are going on. And a lot of people like to throw shots at Desmond Ridder. I mean, I've been one of them. I'm not going to lie. But I watched a little bit of Kurt Warner's breakdown on what's going on. And don't get me wrong, I know the play calling is not the best. But the way that he breaks it down and talks about it, I love it. I love every bit of it. We need more guys with his stature to do stuff like this. Or maybe one or two more guys that can do this. Like, you have the Kurt Warners of the world, stand back, pocket quarterback. I want to see a guy who can scramble a little bit. A guy that was known to move in the pocket a little bit. That's very tenured. Something like a Tony Romo or Steve Young. I would love, or Randall Cunningham, or Michael Vick. I would love to see them break stuff down like this in the way that Kurt Warner's doing it. And another one, I would like, just a basic, game manager type of quarterback that doesn't have all the accolades but still know how to play the game very well. Like I know he's still coaching like a John Harbaugh or something like, Jim Harbaugh. One of those brothers. Which one played for the Colts? I think it's Jim Harbaugh. Played for the Colts. I would love to see or Trent Dilfer or somebody like to do stuff like this, because I think the quarterback position is the most complicated position in all of football, maybe in all of sports. And get guys to break stuff down like this will really give you an understanding of what really goes on, because I'm going to tell you, I'm just a fan. And I would never say and tell you that I know everything. Yeah, I know some people on YouTube, they like to tell you that, they think they know it all, or they act like they know it all, or they think they know better than you. But no, I'm just a guy behind the mic that has basic opinions that the next guy at the barbershop will have. But to see stuff like this is really refreshing. And I kind of, it's kind of a disservice to myself because I don't really get on YouTube that much. I watch a few things, but not as far as the scope of what Kurt Warner is doing. And I need to do more of that. I would love to see Hall of Fame guys or top tier quarterbacks that played the game do stuff like this more often. If they do already, that's great. I need to just be on YouTube more, but I would love to see this. But nevertheless, I rambled enough. So if this is your first time here, welcome. I could be found on YouTube and Rumble, also on Anchor, Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts. I could be found on X at VF Baller. The website is firstandframerates.com. And if you want to support, just hit the like, subscribe to the channel, or just share it. Share the channel, share the podcast, or if you want to help the podcast grow, the Cash App, you could go to Cash App, $, VF Baller 20. The link is down in the description. Just go there. And if you want to support the show, it'd be very much appreciated. All right. Let's just go ahead and get into this. I really can't. I could break it down kind of like what Kurt Warner has done, because he put it in very layman's terms, and I think that's one reason why I like a guy like Kurt Warner to do this, because he's a very simple guy. He doesn't come across as a big X's and O's guy. He's just tell you what he sees on the field and what it is, and based on the protection, the route running, and the play calling in general, he basically does a really good job of telling you what's going on with the Falcons, and everything is not all on Desmond Ridder. Some of this stuff is basically on the play caller, offensive coordinator, and possibly the head coach. So now when I look at this type of stuff, I want to sit back and think, like, what's the big problem here? Is it really Desmond Ridder? Because I did an episode of a few weeks back, or it could have been a week or so ago. I'm going to see if I can pull up the episode number, It was episode, let me see, episode 686. It was like 9 episodes ago. And it was, I asked, was Coach Arthur Smith indirectly sabotaging Desmond Ridder? Now, I'm not saying like he's actually going out to do it, but if you look at some of this play calling, you can make a case that he's not doing Desmond Ridder any favors. And for Kurt Warner to go out and just say, hey, this is what I see, something doesn't look right, it makes you think like, okay, maybe this is really an issue. Because, guys like Kurt Warner, guys like Tony Romo, I mean, those guys do a phenomenal job of calling plays before it happens, especially Tony Romo. I mean, if you get a guy like Trent Dilfer, you get a guy like a Steve Young. I'm not sure about maybe Trakeman. And I'm not saying that to disrespect him. I just know that he had a lot of injuries. So, he may not want to really go out there to articulate too much, as far as the concussions and everything. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but, I don't think it's really his thing. He like to, do play-by-play, but to break it down like this, I'm not really sure. I mean, I could be wrong, but when you look at these guys who played the game for a long time, I mean, guys that we don't even name anymore. I mean, you can go back and look at Chris Chandler. I mean, he was a former Falcon, took us to a Super Bowl. I know Matt Ryan could do it very well. Jeff George, I know he's a very good football mind. Brad Johnson that went to like these guys that you don't really talk about. I would love to see them break stuff down like this. And, you have some guys that's on YouTube that do it, but Kurt Warner was the first one that jumped out at me. He's like, wow, he's actually doing this on YouTube, a Hall of Fame quarterback. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's other ones out there, but I used to hold Kurt Warner in high regard because I know where he came from. I'm a guy who tried to played in the Arena League, bagged groceries at one time, got a shot with what's the kid name that played for the Rams? He went down. I can't remember his name, but he went down and he took these guys to a couple of Super Bowls. Turned around and went to the Giants, and then that didn't pan out with Eli Manning. Went to Arizona, went to another Super Bowl. I mean, this guy is one of the best football players that do get discussed, but not really up there with the Bradys and Mannings and all of that. I mean, or the Breezes, but he's arguably like right up there. He just don't have the rings to back it up, but what he's done, like take guys to Super Bowls, take teams to Super Bowls and all this other stuff, and the way he done it was absolutely, it is well commended. So when I see him do these type of things, I was looking back like, wow, I may need to subscribe to the channel because like I said, I don't really look at that much YouTube when it comes to what I do here. Most of the YouTube stuff I do is the gaming stuff. I'll watch YouTube as far as gaming go, but watching, sports stuff like that, I don't really do it. But I think I'm gonna have to do this with Kurt Warner because he really broke it down, and it like I said, it makes you think what's really going on with the Falcons, and it may be to the point where it is a play calling issue. It looks like, based on what he said, and I know it's a few plays, but there's a lot of plays that have been like that. There's a lot of plays that we've seen that Desmond Ridder was, throwing interceptions and throwing passes that was almost picked off. Like everything is like so choreographed to the point where the defenses know exactly what's going on, or they were like in the huddle. So it makes you think like, okay, you're not helping not just your quarterback, but anybody on the team to succeed. What's really going on here when it comes to the development of this young team? You got to understand this is one of the youngest teams in the league. Not only that, you have a young quarterback that haven't even have a whole season under his belt, really struggling right now, and he ended up getting benched. In my opinion, I think he got a bench because of it. I don't think it's a safety precaution. I really believe that Coach Arthur Smith kind of did some things to Desmond Ridder to not help him be the best quarterback he can be, and he's being benched for it. So it could be a little bit of railroading here that Desmond Ridder's getting a bad rap. And it's not a guy like me to just, cheer and throw the pom-poms up for Desmond Ridder. I mean, I can care less. I done told you how I feel about him. I think the kid is an above average quarterback. I don't think he's going to be an elite status quarterback. I'll be extremely surprised if he gets to that point. But above average is okay. Above average can win you games. And with the right guys around him, you can win a Super Bowl with an above average quarterback. And to be honest with you, this team is like right there on the cusp of getting to the playoffs and with a defense like we have, we could make a run. I mean, we all got to understand before I get out of here. You got to understand, you still dealing with a very good defense, and you got some potent weapons on offense. You just need the quarterback, even with Grady Jarrett out, you still have a really good defense and potent weapons on offense. You just need some guy. You just need a guy that can distribute the ball properly, or some play calling that could work a little bit better to actually get the ball rolling so we can rack up some wins. This team is not a dead in the water team. This team is not bad. Like, everybody kind of knew ever since like the Washington Commanders game, everybody kind of knew what the problem was. Some people will admit to say they knew before then. But for the most part, we know what the problem is. And we need to go ahead and find a way to get that problem resolved sooner rather than later. Because right now, you're on the cusp of going below 500. Once you go below 500, confidence of this team is going to tank. Maybe not in the locker room, but your fan base is going to start to turn on you. And you don't want that. It's already bad enough we don't get enough people to come to the stadium as it is. And we sat there and talked about how well received the fans were of the team in the beginning of the year. You don't want that to flip around. So with that being said, we need to get something going quickly. And what Kurt Warner is showing, that needs to get fixed fast, because he knows what he's talking about. And from what he showed on the screen on his Twitter, which I have that down in the description, you can check the clips that he talked about. You can check those out. It's like a 5-minute clip. He broke it down to the point where it's almost indisputable. And I know Coach Arthur Smith's not going to question it. He's not going to look. He's probably not even looking at it. He don't get on social media. But that doesn't mean that some of this stuff may be true. There's some validity to this. There's some legs to this. The words that are coming out of Kurt Warner's mouth has some weight. So they're going to have to do something about that, because I would love to see Taylor Heineke elevate this team and take this team on a run. And I would like for them to succeed, but some things is going to have to change. You just can't run plays like they were running. Those are set up to fail type of plays. So if you like this commentary, hit the like button, share this podcast, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Let me know what you guys think. It's episode 697. Do you think Kurt Warner is talking crazy? Do you think he's legit? Do you think that some changes need to be made as far as play calling? Or do you really think it's Desmond Ridder? Because he did show a play as well where Taylor Heineke had some issues with the play calling as well. It was a play call that was just pretty bad. They're letting guys run free on the offensive line. Or is it a bad offensive line? What's going on here? I could be found on YouTube and Rumble, also on Anchor, Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts. Like, share, subscribe. Don't forget to let people know what we're doing over here. Also, if you want to follow me on X, it's at VFBaller. And the website is firstandframerates.com. Cash App, PayPal, all those links are down below if you want to support the show. I really, really appreciate all the help and all the support. It really means the world to me. All right, y'all, I'm going to get out of here. Enjoy the rest of y'all evening. I will see you on the next one. All right, y'all. Y'all be easy and y'all be blessed. Peace.